Have you ever wondered what a pro triathlete buys and spends on his weekly food shop? Probably not, but that's what this video is all about, so if you could keep watching, that would be fantastic. Time to go and spend some money. We're sat outside Tesco's and it's in the morning. Prime time for a shop. It means all the shelves should be stocked to the brim, stocked to the gills, so we can go in and absolutely destroy them. I've made the mistake plenty of times going for a weekly shop in the evening and it sucks because there's not much there. So it's in the morning, we're going in, we're going to destroy it. Just like that, the food has magically appeared. I wish it was that simple. So we've done our shop. Now this is, let's say, my main big shop for the week. However, I will top up bits. So things that will need to be replenished, like fruit and veg, certain meats I'll need to get more of, other bits as well. But then also there are stuff in here that I won't need to buy for hopefully another few weeks, like a big bag of coffee. Fingers crossed I don't go through that in a week, and other little bits here and there as well. Now the reason why I wanted to do this video, I haven't done a video like this before, is because my diet has changed a fair amount because of the health and the gut issues that I've had previously. Now if you don't know anything about that, I've documented it a fair amount previously in videos, but essentially went to loads of specialists, had some issues with my gut, it was really affecting my training and my racing, and it turns out that I basically got really bad IBS, which seems really pathetic. But now I'm basically on a mission to find what works well for me, what doesn't work well for me, note what doesn't work well for me, and just kind of cancel it out. And it's meant that I've got a good idea now of what does work well for me. I'm still figuring some bits out, but it means I can just replicate that and replicate that. And it sounds a bit boring, and it sort of is, but I do eat the similar kind of stuff like every day, because if I know it works well for me and I can train well with it, then that's my priority. It's not, tasting good. It's not, being the healthiest option out, because we will talk about this. Maybe some people will say, oh, it's not healthy, whatever. If it makes me train as best as I possibly can be, then that's my goal. And obviously being as healthy as I can as a side note from that, but the priority is getting the training sessions ticked off as best I possibly can. So this is what we've got. Like I said, this isn't a full week, this is just like a decent shop. So let's start from this side and go over to this side. I've put fruit and veg early on here. So essentially I've got spinach, that just goes well with sort of anything. Raspberries seem to go well with me. I don't have blueberries anymore because they seem to upset my stomach. I do eat a lot of bananas, so we'll be replenishing these. Mushrooms, I actually don't know if there's much nutritional value in a mushroom. Let me know in the comment section below, but I just really like them. So we've got those, and then I eat a lot of courgettes as well. The reason why I go for courgettes is because supposedly they're slightly lower fiber content than other veg. So you're still getting some good nutrients, but it's a little bit less fiber. So a little bit, less risk of GI issues. And that's the main veg that I'm having at the minute. The reason why I didn't get stuff like carrots and broccoli is because I've already got some in the fridge, but that would be also another addition to this. So spinach, mushrooms, courgettes, broccoli and carrots, those are my staples. I don't have any raw veg because I found that was really affecting my stomach. So like raw tomatoes, stuff like that, like a raw salad, it just like absolutely destroyed my stomach. And it took me a while to figure out, actually, I need to cook the veg, and then that's when it's a little bit easier to sit on the stomach. Next up, we'll go into the meat section. Like I said, I will have to replenish this section a little bit because I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6 chicken thighs in here. I'll probably do 2 or 3 per serving for me, which sounds a bit greedy, but I get hungry. So, but the reason why I go for chicken thighs instead of breast is I just feel like there's more flavour there, and they cook really well in the air fryer. And anyone who knows me knows that I bang on about my air fryer 24/7 because I love it. So those work really well. I've got salmon as well, so 2 fillets of salmon here. I'll probably get more salmon for later on in the week as well, because I find that works really well. Literally a simple meal is some potatoes, salmon, and some carrots or something like that. I mean, yeah, just works really nicely. Next up, we have some smoked bacon. I feel like smoked bacon is a lot nicer than unsmoked bacon. And it's just a good addition to dishes. Let's say you're making a risotto or something like that. It just adds a bit more depth of flavour, essentially. And it tastes very good. So next up, let's go into the carbs. We've got a few different options here. We've got some baby potatoes. Those work really well, super quick and easy in the air fryer. We have got little microwave bags of rice. The reason why I've got these is because I had some other bags of rice that I can cook in the pan in the cupboards, but I like having these just to hand just because they are super quick and easy. You know, you can do them in the microwave in 2 minutes and you've got a bag of rice. If I need something really quick and easy, I'll grab some rice, I'll chuck in a couple of chicken thighs, and that's a really simple, easy meal. It's not exactly the most glamorous thing in the world, but it does get the job done. Next up, we've got some muffins, which these are just a really good option. I've got plenty of strawberry jam in the fridge, so plaster some jam on top of these, just a really good light snack to have in between meals and in between sessions. Next up, we've got some gnocchi. Absolutely loving the gnocchi at the minute. It's, yeah, really, really nice. So that's, again, another really good carb source. I'm trying to steer away a little bit from pasta just because it does seem to affect me a little bit. So predominantly my carb sources will be potatoes and rice. I will have a little bit of pasta, but for the most part, if I do have a pasta dish, it'll be in the evening because then I can let it settle and I've got the whole night, you know, before the next morning to feel okay again. Whereas if I have pasta in the middle of the day, and especially if I've got a run later in the day, it can affect me a little bit. So I stay a little bit clear of pasta. And then this is going to be the big talking topic of today, is the shittiest white bread you can imagine is this bread. Now, there's a very good reason why I've bought this and I haven't bought some sort of like high quality sourdough or whole grain bread or whatever it is other people use. It's because I cannot stress enough how many different loaves of bread I have tested, and none of them work as well as this little bugger. So I've tried every single sourdough, okay? I feel like I've tried every single loaf of bread out there. It's ridiculous. I've gone to the local bakers. I've tried the nicest stuff possible. I've tried everything, and it doesn't seem to sit as well as something like this. This is super simple, and yeah, it is crappy quality, but like I said earlier on in the video, if it helps me get my training done and I don't feel any symptoms, I don't have a dodgy stomach, I don't get bloating, I don't get gas, I don't get, I don't need to go to the toilet, then that's good. And this stuff, honestly, yeah, it may not be the best quality, but it gets the job done. Every other bread that I've had seems to cause issues. So why would I go for better quality but have worse results in my training when I could go for, yeah, arguably not very good quality, but I get better results in my training? Like, that's what I'm looking for, so that's the good stuff. Right, next up, simple, we got some eggs. Those are just easy to get in. Scrambled eggs on toast, a nice little snack. Lots of honey because I have a lot of granola, yogurt, stuff like that in the morning, porridge, bits like that, so that works really well. We've got some sauces here, so pestos, which I'm really liking at the minute. Actually just adds a bit of depth to a dish. If I did like rice, chicken, chuck a bit of pesto in there, a bit of veg, like that's just a really nice meal. Super, super easy. So, and these seem to sit really well on the stomach as well, like sun-dried tomatoes. Those ones I would predominantly have maybe in the middle of the day, and then the basil one, just because it does have a bit of cheese in it, I would probably have in the evening, just because, if there is a risk of getting any kind of stomach issues, I'd rather have it in the evening than in the middle of the day and risk, ruining my sessions for the rest of that day. Moving on, we've got some baked beans. These are good just to have around because it's, again, super, super easy meal. Beans on toast, and they're really good source of protein. So yeah, bash them out. Then we have got my dairy alternatives. The reason why I don't have dairy anymore is purely because, yeah, I was getting really bad stomach issues, and I found that lactose was a big problem for me. So I have soya milk, which seems to work well. Don't have any issues with, so that's absolutely fine. And then I also go for these are like crack cocaine. Not that I've ever had crack cocaine, but I can imagine it's bloody good. Like these, these are absolutely amazing. So the Alpro cherry yogurt, and then I've got the Alpro blueberry yogurt. Those are just really nice to have in the morning with, like I've got coming up next, just plain old granola or some muesli as well, and that works really well. I've got some walnuts that I put on my porridge or on my morning yogurt, and I'll obviously have the fruit over there with it as well. I've then gone for a big bag of coffee. This obviously isn't going to get used within a week. I really hope it doesn't, but you can never have too much coffee, so I went for the 1 kilo bag. Then I've also got some squash. The reason why I've got squash is it's just an extra bit of flavour. Like sometimes when you're training like so much and you're drinking a lot of water, it does get a little bit boring. So just mixing it up a little bit, you know, if I go on like a 4 or 5 hour bike ride, I'll just take a litre bottle of squash, and it's just something a bit different, you know, a bit of flavour, adds a bit of interest to your day. So this is kind of not a weekly food shop, but it's a decent food shop. I'd probably do another half of this in a week. So let's see, we've spent £77 and we've saved £7. That's actually not too bad, you know, save 10%, it's okay. So we're probably looking at spending around 100 to 120 quid a week on food, I would imagine. Some weeks will be a bit more, some weeks will be a bit less. The reason why I haven't gone crazy this time is because I know I'm going away on the weekend, so that's like 2 days away that I don't want to, you know, leave stuff hanging around and getting nasty. So yeah, this is the food shop. This is the reasoning behind these foods. I'm sure some people will have certain questions about different bits, but there is a reason behind every single bit that I've bought. And if I do get to a point where I find a food doesn't work well for me and I don't get on with it, I just completely cancel it out. Now there is one thing I probably should discuss that you guys may have seen hanging around in the background here. It's a packet of cookies. These are 4 triple Belgian chocolate cookies, and if anyone knows, when it comes to cookies, you have to do the squeezing test, right? You have to, and people in the supermarket probably won't like me for doing this, but when they're stacked up, I will squeeze every single packet, just lightly, just to make sure I'm getting ones that are a little bit soft and they've got a good texture. So these ones, they passed the squeeze test, so we got them. Now, plenty of people will be thinking, oh my God, that is so unhealthy, you shouldn't be having that. To a degree, I kind of agree with you a little bit, but I also don't. Now, my reasoning for this is because I feel like striving for perfection and being as clean as possible is not attainable for me. It may be attainable for someone else, it's not attainable for me, okay? Because I got a really sweet tooth and I do crave certain things, and when you're training up towards 30 hours a week, sometimes being as strict and as healthy as possible isn't actually the best option. Sometimes you do need calorie-dense foods that are deemed unhealthy, but you just need them to get the calories back in. There is a certain degree of just needing to fuel. Now, I'm not saying by any means smashing a packet of cookies every day is a great idea and having McDonald's every day and a curry or whatever. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is if I try and be as strict as I possibly can and take out everything that I kind of like, then I know I'll get to a tipping point and then I'll just fall off a cliff and I'll smash maybe 3 of these a day and I'll probably, eat a kilo of Nutella in the morning or something. So I keep that at bay by basically allowing myself to have a little bit, allowing myself to have a bit of treat, allowing myself to have stuff like that, because one, it keeps me sane, 2, it's enjoyable, and 3, there is actually reasoning behind it. Like I said, you do have to get the calories back in. If you're someone who's only training 10 hours a week, then yeah, you can be a little bit more strict and you can be a little bit more healthy. But when you're training a lot, and you're doing an incredible amount of intensity and you're just working your body to the absolute limit, you will need to have some things like potentially that people think, oh, it's not very healthy. And I'll be interested to hear people's comments in the comments section below. And next up, I'll be doing like a full day of eating and how that works around my training, what kind of meals that I get out of this sort of stuff. And then we'll continue to be documenting the journey towards the Ironman 70.3 World Champs in December. And yeah, just getting my diet and my nutrition locked in is going to be really important for me to be able to hit my sessions as best I possibly can, recover as best I possibly can, and just feel a lot nicer as well, feel a lot more energy. Things are rolling in the right direction. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.